Garrett Penn.
Good morning.
Morning. Morning.
How many of you have been following this amazing news about the space shuttle moving through downtown LA? By a show of hands. Almost everybody in the room, it's hard to ignore. And the paper, front page of the LA Times this morning has this beautiful shot of the shuttle. Proof positive, ladies and gentlemen, that NASA has now moved beyond a man on the moon. They have conquered downtown LA traffic. Fellow Toastmasters, dignitaries, and honored guests. I have been in the technology field for 20 years. Well, my first choice was actually NBA star, followed by NFL. That wasn't working out for me so well, so technology ended up being the field. And I am never seen the amount of press that NASA's getting these days, and it's for astounding activities, both historically and in the present. I was traveling to work the other day, driving in my car, turned on NPR, and I heard an article about the space shuttle moving through downtown. Just as I got up to about 55 miles an hour, came to a stop at a red light. I thought to myself, haven't we figured this out yet? I decided it would be interesting, maybe if NASA tackled some of these traffic problems. So I did what any technologist would do. I decided to ask Siri. Beep, beep. Oh, excuse me. I was hands-free at the time. Beep, beep. Siri, what is the budget of the Federal Highway Administration versus that of NASA? Beep, beep. Siri gave me an amazing, astounding answer that some of you will be absolutely floored by.
Garrett, I do not understand the top context of your question.
All right, so maybe technology is not perfect all the time. I went to work. I Googled what the budgets were. Turns out that FHA's budget is $40 billion a year, and NASA's is 17. Less than half? Seems somewhat suspect. So back into the car. I'm sitting with 20 other scowling adults at the traffic light, letting somebody else make a left turn. They're smiling. Nobody else is. And you think to yourself, NASA took a space shuttle, 165,000-pound object, flew it into orbit, 17,000 miles an hour, dock it with this space station, 6 times its size, and park it not on a dime, to put this in perspective, because nobody can really comprehend how big these objects are. Let's take 24 Africanized elephants, male, huge, tethered together, coat them in silica tiles, impervious to the sun. Now, have them travel at 17 times the speed of a bullet, full speed, toward the Empire State Building, and stop! On a pin. This is absolutely amazing. And yet, the scowling adults at the light. Finally, I got through the light. I moved on to the freeway, and I'm coming up over the crest of the toll road, listening to NPR. I lose my favorite station. FM. How is this possible? I thought to myself. So that day when I got to work, I Googled how NASA communicates. Let me take you back a little bit. Anybody in the room remember the Carter administration? Yeah. Many decades ago. They launched this little thing called Voyager. Spacecraft. don't dearly. I could not figure out why I was so infuriated by this traffic jam until I thought back to my upbringing. Many of you can relate. In the 70s and 80s, we read social studies and science books, and they said, "The flying car is coming." Where's the flying car? Oh, Gary, you're silly. You can't have a flying car. There's gravity. There's problems with fuel. You never get it off the ground. Blah, 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 blah. And yet NASA took an SUV, flew it to Mars 60 million miles away. And they don't just crash it into Mars. No, they did that with the last SUV they stuck on Mars. No, this time they have to do it in style. So they put it on a flying saucer and look around for the best parking space. And then slowly lower it down to a perfect landing, and then drive it around via remote control with a 360-degree camera. And we can't get a flying Honda? This flying winch, by the way, is called a sky crane. Ray Bradbury can't make this stuff up. A sky crane. NASA gets the sky crane. We get Carmageddon too. Is anybody else with me on this NASA thing? Back to my original premise. 40 billion, 17 billion. Split it up. At the end of the day, it's not rocket science. Maybe it is. Contest.